Hello and welcome. What are the steps required to remove the sheath, which is the outer jacket, on Corning Cable System's tight buffered cables? And by tight buffered, I mean 900 micron coated fibers. Well, let's see what that takes together. This type of cable, from a jacket you would see says OFNP. That means it's a plenum rated cable suitable for all plenum areas, riser rated shafts, telecommunication rooms, workstations, a very versatile cable. And before we do anything with fiber optic cables, of course, and anything else, safety comes first. And for this, the only thing I need is safety glasses and presence of mind. And always, when working with fiber optic cable, we recommend that you acclimatize this cable to the environment in which you'll be installing. What I mean is, we want the cable to be a similar temperature to the environment in which you'll be installing it. That is for best results. Also remember that cables are sensitive to excessive pulling, bending, and crushing forces. You want to be careful. If you have Corning Cable Systems 50 micron, such as I have in this cable, clear curve optical technology makes the cables just a little bit more forgiving so you can relax a little. Otherwise, use the age-old rule of thumb, of 15 times the outer band radius, and that will keep you safe. This cable that I have right now has a pulling tension rating of 440 newtons and a bend radius of not more than 3.6 inches. Where did I get that information? That comes from the specification sheets which may be found online or may be shipped with a cable. And now let us access this cable. To start, I will locate the end of the cable and discard any portion that was attached to a pulling apparatus. And for this, I may use my snips or my diagonal strippers. The rest of the tools I have here are a permanent marker, a tape measure, a sim ripper, coaxial stripper, a large size, screwdriver, Miller strippers, and that's all you're going to need to access the cable. And to remove the coating on the fiber, you might need some isopropyl alcohol and some Kim wipes. To start, to obtain the sheath removal length, you need to consult the standard recommended procedures or spec sheet for the housing into which you're installing the cable. Let's say for this particular unit, it is 24 inches. I will add 6 inches to that length for my total sheath removal length. I will take my tape measure and my marker and mark a point that is 6 inches from the end, and then 30 inches. Those are my two marks. Cap my pen, and now grab my snips. The purpose of this exercise is to get to the ripcord, and I have slit that thing about 1 inch so that I can insert my sim ripper. Be careful with this, you could puncture yourself, so always work behind. I'm going to rip this thing for 6 inches. Notice it's hard to do. If it is, remove it, reinsert, and go to your 6-inch mark. The reason why it was a little bit hard was because of the aramid yarn in there bunching up around my sim ripper. Next thing I'll do is peel off the jacket, remove my fibers and aramid yarn, just like so. Make sure there's nothing in there. Snip off this portion of the jacket. Next thing I'll do is look for my ripcord, white in color. Do not mistake it for the white fiber here. Now you can use a ripcord to slit the outer jacket just like so. Remember to stop at the mark that you previously made at the 30-inch point. just like that. Next step, separate the fibers and the RMED yarn from the jacket, just like so. Be careful with the fibers not to exceed the fiber bend radius there. When you get to this point, you may peel off your jacket, make sure there are no fibers in there, or validate the same looking at your fibers. You can snip off this point in here and dress it up a little bit later. All that's left now is to separate my fibers, just like so. A little blowing might help, from the RMED yarn. At this point, you also want to pay particular attention to your yellow fiber, because the RMED yarn is yellow. Now, do not trim this off at the 30-inch mark. What you want to do is save about 6 inches, or consult the hardware into which you're installing the cable for the strain relief length required for use with the RMED yarn. And this is what I have. And I've also saved my ripcord just in case I make a mistake and I need to reaccess the cable. All that's left is to access a fiber after you install it into your housing. The way you do that is select a fiber, get a hold of your Miller strippers. I have a 2-hole Miller stripper. It has a large hole on the front and a smaller hole in the back. I will use the large hole to remove the 900 micron coating, just like that. 2-step process, and then going to the back, using the back hole, my fiber just requires one more step here, some isopropyl alcohol, and a quick wipe, and I have my fiber. We're going to assume that we have already marked the jacket at the 6-inch point and the 30-inch point, and we will grab the coaxial stripper, making sure all the other blades are retracted. This is blade number 1, number 2, and number 3. We're going to insert this to the back, just like so. And what we're looking for is for the blade to score the jacket and not cut it. So you use the jacket thickness to gauge the position of the blade, and then retighten, just like so. Test it. Maybe 1 or 2 rotations might do it. In this case, 1 rotation is fine. And then go to the 30-inch mark, repeat, and remove. And you have your fibers. You can trim off the Kevlar like I just showed earlier, and then strip your fibers as I demonstrated earlier. And that's it, folks. If you got any questions, call us or write us an email at landscapesolutions@corning.com. Thank you.